Hello, welcome to Tranquil Journeys. I'm Jennifer Fatier, and I'm here with Alice and Clement, and we are your instructors. Alice and I are both Reiki masters, and for over 20 years, we've grown our knowledge in complementary practices such as sound for relaxation, massage therapy, Reiki, and Ayurveda. And we've been teaching and affiliated with Images of Hope for over 5 years to bring healing arts to support all people on the western slope of El Dorado County affected by cancer or trauma. We're so happy that you're taking the time to join us today, and we want to thank you for your continued support of Images of Hope and our virtual classes and joining us from wherever you are located. Today, we'll spend time on self care practices and meditation to promote relaxation and inner peace. Our theme is spring renewal. And so, our goal is that you finish the session feeling refreshed and nourished and guided by your own inner wisdom. So, now I'll go ahead and turn it over to Allison and we'll get started.
So I think we can all use a little renewal at this point. It's still cold here. I imagine it might be where you are too. And I am looking for signs of spring, and every little sign I see warms my heart. And we're gonna talk a little bit about renewal, feeling renewed and rejuvenated. And I think you can see me on the large screen there. I'm going to give credit to Thich Nhat Hanh for the next thing that I'm going to talk about. He talks about a tangerine meditation. And a couple of the things I'm going to go over today will hopefully give you a renewed and fresh way of seeing things around you and bring you some joy and mindfulness as well, because it brings you present to what you're experiencing right now. And sometimes it's good. It takes us out of our head where we spend a little bit too much time, if you're like me, overthinking things and becoming mindful of what is happening here and now. So I didn't have a tangerine, so this is an orange, but doesn't matter what it is. It could be whatever you're experiencing now. And you can bring this attention to what you eat, or just what happens to come in front of you at whatever moment. I think I will read his words because he has a very beautiful way of expressing things. He says, "One day I offered a number of children a basket filled with tangerines. The basket was passed around, and each child took one tangerine and put it in his or her palm. We each looked at our tangerine, and the children were invited to meditate on its origins. They saw not only their tangerine, but also its mother, the tangerine tree. With some guidance, they began to visualize the blossoms on that tree, in the sunshine and in the rain. Then they saw petals falling down and the tiny green fruit appear. The sunshine and the rain continued, and the tiny tangerine grew. Now, someone has picked it, and the tangerine is here." After seeing this, each child was invited to peel the tangerine slowly, noticing the mist and the fragrance of the tangerine, and then bring it up to his or her mouth and have a mindful bite in full awareness of the texture and taste of the fruit and the juice coming out. We ate slowly like that. Each time you look at a tangerine, you can see deeply into it. You can see everything in the universe in one tangerine. When you peel it and smell it, it's wonderful, and you can take your time eating a tangerine and be very happy. So that's the sort of mindfulness you can bring to everything you eat. So it's just a good reminder. I looked at the tag on my orange and I thought, what country did it come from? And I tried to visualize the people picking my orange and thinking, I wonder what their day was like on the day that they picked this orange. It's hard work. It's hard work. Were they thinking about their family at the time? I hope they had a good day that day. And I was grateful to every hand that went into the process that got this orange to me so that I could eat it. So it's, if you kind of imagine the whole process of how everything we have, whether it's this pen or the books behind me or the computer I'm using right now, all the people that went into making of that and getting that to me, it fills me with a sense of gratitude. And that's a major ingredient in happiness. And it's something that it's kind of good to be. I know I need reminding of it once in a while. So this meditation was kind of good for me in that way. So along with our renewal theme, there was the idea of clearing out negative energies or just making room for positive, fresh experiences and energies. And something that I have done many times in the past, and even sometimes, like if I need to clear out the bad vibes from a bad dream I had, or if there was a really serious or a slightly negative discussion, with my family, it feels really good to clear out that energy from the room. If you move to a new house or a new office, it's good to clear the space. It's space clearing, removing the old energies from the space to make room for new and positive experiences and energies. It just feels good. It's kind of like that feeling after you wash your hair. You just feel like a new person. Well, it's that same feeling if you do a little space clearing. And in a more spiritual sense, the Native Americans used sage or mugwort to clear the energies and send prayers up to the universe. And in the Native American sense, this is done as a ceremony, and it's done with prayers in your heart and a very mindful way of thinking of it, and moving the smoke around and upwards. And I think we've kind of secularized it maybe a little bit too much. People just sort of casually talk about, oh, I guess I better burn some sage. But I think it's nice to reintroduce a real spiritual sense to that process. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that in the Native American way, they often use white sage, which just has a cleansing smell. And when it's burned, it's just the most amazing scent. Um, I'm not much for the smell of smoke, but there is something about the smell of sage or the scent of a mugwort. This is a native mugwort. Artemisia vulgaris is the scientific name of the one that grows here in the Sierras. And the Native Americans used it in their sweat lodges and for cleansing ceremonies and spiritual ceremonies when it is burned. And it has a beautiful smell. And they sometimes used an abalone shell as a vessel to burn the leaves in and to send the smoke up to the universe and the prayers, a feather. And with the right intent, you can choose anything that you like. It's all about the intention and about clearing the space and sending the smoke and the energies up and clearing the space, clearing your mind, bringing out the negative and bringing to make room for the positive and the new. So that's how you can use smoke. And you don't have to have something like an abalone shell. Um, you could use a Pyrex lid or some sort of a fireproof um, container or plate because you don't want to burn down your house. So anyway, so that's smoke. And another way that you can clear a space is through sound vibrations. Um, for example, singing bowls, or I'm going to show you a tingsha. They can be used to harmonize a home or office or other space. And like I say, if you're moving into a new home, you can clear out the energy of the previous occupants. And or if your energy feels stuck or disharmonious in any way, the vibrations from the sound can transform that energy into one that's more balanced and harmonious. And they can amplify whatever new intentions you have for that space. So I find that the best sounds for space clearing are very shrill, high sounds. And I have one bowl that is um, particularly good for that. It just really feels like it clears out the energy. Um, and I'll see if you can hear this. I hope this isn't too shrill for you. Now, if I was doing this as part of a clearing ritual, I would move the sound and point it into the four directions or all the corners of my room. I would walk the sound around my space. And tingshas also have that sort of vibration that is very, very cleansing. And I'll demonstrate that. If you're not familiar with what a tingsha is, they're a Himalayan instrument, a bit like but shaped like a cymbal, really. But they're formed with a thick edge to carry sound. And it really reverberates the sound of a tingsha. You hold a little leather or cloth strap that holds the two together. You hold that right at the end where it meets the metal, and you strike it perpendicular to each other. It may be a personal thing, but I think this sound is also a very cleansing and energizing sound. So that's a little bit about space clearing. So renewal of the energy in the space that you inhabit, and a cleansing, and it just feels good. Okay, couple more things before I turn it over to Jennifer. Uh, Another type of renewal is the way you view the world, and for me, viewing nature is something that rejuvenates me and clears my mind and puts everything in perspective for me. And one way to reconnect with nature that I'm going to suggest to you is, number one, you can do it by drawing. If you're artistic in any way, if you have to draw anything, you don't have to be a great artist. If you just say to yourself, I am going to draw this plant, whether it's a house plant or something that you see outside, a flower, a clump of grass. Once you look at it, knowing that you're going to draw it, you start to notice all sorts of detail that you've never noticed before. And it's just a very therapeutic thing to do, a very mindful thing to do. You will be totally in the present if you just grab a pencil, a pen. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece, so you don't even need to be able to erase it. You can just do your best, just draw, but it causes you to look at what you're looking at in a really real and mindful way. So that's drawing. The other thing that has made me really see and experience nature is writing haiku poems in English. Um, and I don't write them well, and I don't write them perfectly. And some of you might know that a haiku traditionally has a formula in terms of syllables. It's first line 5, middle line 7 syllables, final line 5, 5, 7, 5. And you could look this up on the internet, and it will remind you of that. There's a longer form of Japanese poetry. Sometimes I find that I just can't fit everything I want to put into a 575, a short form. So I use a longer form, which is called a tanka, which is 57577. And I don't even bother anymore about each line having to end at the 5 or 7 syllable mark. If it's maybe a total of 31 syllables, it's nice. It gives me a bit of a framework to fit my thoughts in, but I just do it in a free form sort of way. But writing a haiku about nature is kind of the equivalent of seeing something in the way where you have to draw it, but it's doing it with words. It gets you to notice things. And I after I started doing that, I found it was a video and some essays on the internet by a gentleman named David G. Haskell, Haskell. And he had the most amazing advice for how to experience nature with all your senses. And I'll share a little bit of that with you. But first, I'll just give you some examples. Basho was a Japanese poet a long time ago. And of course, these have been translated from the Japanese. But it gives you an idea. Violets, how precious on a mountain path. As simple as that. So they give you a feeling. They make you feel like you've just experienced something. And it implies an emotion of some sort. Here's another one. Such fragrance. From where? Which tree? So you can almost imagine you're out walking, when you hear that, and it's just a few words, but they're very sensory experiences, haiku, and it really exercises all your senses, and that is so good for if you've experienced trauma, if you have anxiety or panic. I think we've often said that one thing you can do if you are experiencing those difficult feelings, look around you. Think of what you're smelling, the texture of your clothing. What are you feeling at the moment? What are you seeing and hearing? Writing a haiku will do that if you set yourself that task. And the way David Haskell puts it, with all your senses, he says, okay, if you go out walking, and these days, some people still wear masks. I do sometimes, and we're not quite as eager perhaps to hug others. Well, you can still hug a tree. Feel the texture and the strength as you touch a tree. Put your hand on some wet grass in the morning. Feel the dew. Feel the coolness. What does that feel like? What birds are the ones that you hear first thing in the morning? Are those different than the bird sounds that you hear in the evening? Evening light. Is evening light a different color when it lights up a plant outside your door? Does that plant look a different color in the morning with morning light? Do the sounds reverberate in a different way between the buildings as you walk into town when it's quiet, in the evening when people are going to and fro, maybe to restaurants? How does the sound quality change? And he also gives the example somewhat like our tangerine meditation. When you drink a cup of tea, taste it first, and then think of the people who picked that tea. And did it go through a dryer? Can you visualize them laying it on a dryer? How does that make you feel? And it just uh, gives you words to use. If you make a haiku with whatever you are experiencing at the time. When I did last week, it was a cold morning, and I was getting a little tired of winter. And I looked out my kitchen window and I saw that a bush across from the window, I saw a little tiny green leaf coming out on it. And it just made me so happy seeing that. And so here's when I wrote, today I see a green bud on the ice gray branch, timid bud of hope. So it's just noticing the little things. So I challenge you, go out. You don't even have to go out. Stay in. Put your hand on the cushion next to you. Does it give you an sort of feeling? What words come to your mind when you feel that? If you turn and look at the cat and look at his breath, move his chest and his fur, almost like watching the stalks of wheat that you can see in a field when the wind blows. Put some of those words into. I'm just doing this at random, looking around my room. My cat is sleeping right there. Just think of words and what you see makes you feel. You don't have to use the name of the emotion. You can just imply it, and people will feel what you've been feeling. And do it just for yourself. It feels good, and it gives you a different and more magnificent lens with which to view the world. It brings you to the present. It's mindfulness. So anyway, so that's the thing that I've been enjoying for the past maybe year or so. And I'm not a writer. I don't enjoy writing, but something about just grabbing those few words from what I see. I love that feeling of experiencing things and seeing them more deeply. Okay, one last thing I'm going to share with you is a breathing technique. And I call it breathing in peace. So that is something for relaxation and renewal. And let me find my place here, my notes. So let's sit comfortably for a moment. If you'd like to do this with me, just center yourself, take a few deep breaths. This short exercise will prepare us for Jennifer's guided meditation coming next. Okay. When you breathe, try to use your diaphragm and your belly as much as possible. You can exhale from your mouth or your nose. Good long exhale. And as you breathe in next, think of a calming statement. And what I'm going to suggest is, now I'm breathing in all that is of peace. Breathing in peace. And when I exhale, I'm breathing out all that is not of peace. And if you like to visualize, when you breathe in, you can breathe in peace. You can imagine blue sky, clouds, birds flying across the sky, ocean waves. When you breathe out, sometimes if I think of breathing out more negative energies or breathing out whatever is not serving me at the moment, I imagine it as breathing out sort of a colored mist or a darker mist. All of that is leaving me. And in comes peace through my breath and out as I relax. Anything that is not serving me is being exhaled out. Breathing in peace, breathing out everything that is not of peace. Notice how your muscles, your scalp, and your shoulder, as you exhale, they start to relax and release tension. Now that we've done a bit of breathing to center ourselves and to clear our energies, I'm going to hand it over to Jennifer so you can enjoy a guided meditation and some self-massage techniques. With the sound of a singing bowl, to begin our guided meditation. And now our guided meditation with Jennifer.
So go ahead and just continue to sit in your relaxing state of mind. You're welcome to close your eyes if you haven't done so already. And just continue to breathe in that sense of peace and exhale out any tension or energy that's no longer serving you. Maybe this time take it a little bit deeper. Letting your chest and abdomen fill as you inhale. And letting all the tension dissipate from your torso as you exhale. And just use this moment to let go. Let go of your to-do list, giving yourself complete attention in this moment. This is an opportunity for you to look at the bigger picture of your own self, to think about the ways that you take care of yourself and rejuvenate and renew your own mind, your own spirit and body. One of the best ways you can do this is to relax, letting your body work in the ways it works through relaxation to heal and renew within. Imagine that the relaxation spreads and brings positive stimulation to all of the function of your internal organs. And relaxation spreads into the muscles of your body for more flexibility and rejuvenates your cells for healing throughout every part of your body. And just sit for a moment, breathing naturally and comfortably, letting relaxation spread. Breathe in peace. Let go of tension. Enjoy the quiet peace within yourself. Take another inhale and exhale. And while you're sitting in a relaxed state of mind and body, I'm going to guide you through a quick self massage routine that will rejuvenate your mind and body. But it's very important to give yourself a few minutes of quiet before you begin, just so you can maximize the effects of relaxation and stress reduction and letting go of tension and maybe some anxieties that have built up over the week since you've or the month since you've watched Tranquil Journeys. So make sure that you do take time to focus on your breathing and give yourself a moment to just be calm. So when you're ready, you can open your eyes and just sit gently in a chair with your feet flat on the ground. It's probably the easiest way to do this routine. However, if you're more comfortable on the floor, um, you can do that too. So if you need to take a moment to get comfortable for your self massage routine, you can do that now. And so we're just going to do some really simple Swedish massage techniques to spread and move the connective tissue in the body. And this helps move energy in the body, it helps circulation, and it just gives you an overall sense of well being and renewal. And it's very important to uh, do self massage just to stimulate circulation and to bring energy and more balance and harmony, not only to your body but to your mind. And it's all very good for you. So just little simple things you can easily incorporate into your meditation routine. You can do this in 1 to 2 minutes. You can do it in longer time frame if you have time for a longer session. So we're just going to start. Hopefully you've gotten yourself comfortable now. And we're going to start at the top of our head, and we're going to start with head massage. And so it's kind of like you're using your fingertips to start at the crown of the head and massage the crown of the head in circular motion with your fingertips. It's almost like you're shampooing your hair, but it's important to start at the crown and kind of work your way down to the back of the neck, doing that circular motion. And already it feels great because we have so much tension that we carry in our head. A lot of things go on inside our mind. And so sometimes just the physical contact on the head feels so relieving of tension. So just keep doing that until you get to the back of the neck. And then you're just going to do circular movements along where back of the neck connects to the spine. So in the cervical area, occipital range of the bone along the back of the neck. And just really use your fingertips to massage at a pressure that is comfortable for you, at a rate that's comfortable for you. If you don't like movement, you can just hold the back of the neck, and that also feels really good just to touch the area. And then you want to come back to the sides of the head and just start doing the same thing, starting right above the ears at the temples, and then massage along the back of the ears, circular movements. so that you get kind of under the ears as well. And sometimes the back of the ears, the back of the neck is very sensitive to touch, could be tender and sore there. So make sure you're just kind of making a mental note of where that is. And maybe that's an area you want to stretch later by doing some side to side neck stretching. But be gentle with yourself. Never do anything that feels uncomfortable. And just kind of massage the back of the neck again. And then, if you'd like, you can actually squeeze your ears, squeeze the earlobe with your fingertips. There's a lot of reflexology points along the earlobe. So, just that little squeeze of the earlobe and doing all along the entire ear to the top is really a good way to reach all of the organs of the body. According to reflexology, there's lots of reflex points on the ears, the hands, the feet that correlate with the organs and systems of the body. So just touching the ears, sometimes you feel sensitivities there, and it's just a place you can work the entire body. And then move to your cheeks and just kind of stroke under the eyes with your fingertips. It's almost like you're dragging from the nose, under the eyes. Drag your fingertips along the jawline. Another area you might notice some sensitivity in the jawbone here. You can do some circular movements with your fingertips. And this is just really awakening you to where you might have sensitivities in your own body, where you might hold more tension. Sometimes you don't realize that until you actually touch or press on an area. So it's just becoming more mindful of where you're carrying stress and tension and using your own self care to release and help your body release that tension. And then just some circular movements between the eyebrows here. This is a very powerful point, not only to reduce headaches, but also insomnia. If you can't sleep, you can lay in bed and press this point. It's also known as a bliss happiness point because it stimulates energy flow throughout the entire body. And already I feel more energetic. And then you can just let your fingertips drag across the forehead, starting right above the eyebrows. And then go a little higher to the center of the forehead. Pull your forehead muscles apart. So often we're thinking too much and our forehead muscles get into the same type of position. So just pull the forehead muscles apart. That feels really good. And again, drag your fingertips down along the jaw. Do some more circular movements. You can tap under your nose, under the bottom lip, and then just let your fingertips drag down your throat. Do that 3 times. It's a great way to stimulate lymph in the head and neck. You can tap under your collarbone. This is a great anxiety point we've talked about many times in our classes. But just tap under each side of the collarbone, or you can lie your hand across the chest. You have your thumb on one place under the collarbone where there's a natural indentation, and your index finger on another, and that hits your anxiety point. And then while you have your hand here, always take a breath. And then you can reach your hand, if it's comfortable, over your shoulder. And you just want to squeeze Squeeze your neck and shoulder and massage your neck and shoulder, starting at the base of the neck, squeezing. It's almost like you're picking up the muscle of the shoulder and squeezing it in your hand and working all the way out to the shoulder. And you can do this a few times back and forth. And you can kind of get a sense of where you're having tension in your neck and shoulders. And if you'd like to put more pressure in those areas, just do some circular movements with your fingertips if you find a sensitive spot along your neck and shoulders. And then do the same thing on the other side. If it helps, you can use the other hand to kind of balance your massaging hand in place. Already, it feels great to move the muscles around in the neck and shoulders. So much tension is there as well. And then what you want to start doing is massage the joint. So just do some circular movement around the entire shoulder. And this is very light. Use a pressure that's comfortable for you. And then just drag your arm down and do the same thing around the elbow. And then down to the wrist. And you can actually squeeze and press on the wrist if that feels comfortable for you, all the way down to the elbow. You can kind of feel the tendons moving around in there, and it might be sore as well, so just be gentle. And then when you get to your hand, make sure that you're doing some strokes on the inside of the palm. You can start right at the pinky and drag your fingertips to the base of the palm. Do the next finger. Do each finger, stretching out the palm. So you're kind of holding your palm away from you. And then just massage each finger, making sure you get to the tip of each one. Again, there's a lot of reflexology points here. So just holding the tip of your finger stimulates brain activity and sinus relief. So just squeeze, press each finger and the tip of each finger. Feels great. Make sure you do the same thing on the other side. And then once you've done both arms and fingers and hands, bring your hands to your heart. And here we want to open our torso and stretch our arms a bit. So just take a breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in peace. Let go of tension and notice the good feeling you feel in the top half of your body compared to the bottom. All that stimulation you've done, it feels great. So here you just want to stretch your hands out directly in front of you from your heart and just kind of let your arms go out in front of you and then open them nice and wide as far as they go, making sure that your shoulders are dropped away from your head, and just allow your arms to spread, allowing all kinds of good energy to come into your heart area. And then bring your hands back to your chest. You're collecting all the good energy and bringing it back into you. Taking a breath here. Feels great. And again, do that one more time. Just stretch your arms out, expanding yourself, expanding your heart, stretching your arms and shoulders, and collecting all the good from the world and bringing it back to you. Feels great. And now you've opened up your chest. So now just gently rock side to side. We're going to open our hips a little bit, very gently and easily. Our hips can hold so much tension. So just barely leaning one side or the other can feel really good. And maybe lean forward just a bit and lean back so that your back touches the chair all the way. And just kind of adjust yourself as you're sitting so that your feet continue to be flat on the floor. If it feels comfortable here, you can do a little side twist where you reach to the other side of the chair and just gently look the way that you're twisting, keeping your hips flat on the chair and your feet flat on the floor. And just very gently do a side twist. This kind of opens up the spine, the muscles in the back, and only go as far as comfortable for you. If it's only comfortable to go to turn your head or a shoulder, then do that. There's no need to force. Just be very easy and gentle. And then take your hands and just bring them down to your hip area and start doing some circular movement on your hips and the side of your torso so that you're kind of using your palms to go over the hip joints. And if it's comfortable, then you can use your fist and reach behind you and just massage your lower back, circular movements. And if it's not comfortable to reach that way, just keep doing hip circles with your palms. You can do some pressing with your fists into your hips, just right around the joint. And then bring your hands to your belly. So above the belly button and below the belly button. And just let your hands rest here for a moment. Take a breath in and feel your belly expand. Inhaling peace and exhaling tension. And now move both hands right over the belly button area. This is a very powerful point. Take a breath here. And now do some very, very slow clockwise circular motion over the belly button. This stimulates all of the energy of your digestion. It stimulates your creativity chakra. all the fire within. And it's just very, very slow and gentle. It's a very sensitive area. So take care to be gentle here. And I like to go around 3 times at least. Sometimes, if you're having indigestion or a belly ache, just putting your hands here and doing those small circular movements can really help. And then just move your hands down to your thighs, letting your hands rest on your thighs. Move your hands to your knees and just do some circular movements, just like we did on the elbow around the kneecap. So you're just going circular around each of your knees. Feels so good. We don't often touch our knees. So it's just a reminder of how our knees are feeling at the moment. Do you feel some tension here or sensitive spots? Just massage the joint. And then it's difficult to show you, but just go ahead and continue to reach down your leg, doing some gentle stroking of the calf on both sides, circular movement down to your ankles, and do some circular movement around each of your ankles, each sides of your ankle, the inside and outside. Sometimes it helps to bring your leg up. You can do that, or you can just reach down the chair, whichever feels best. And then when you get to the foot, you're going to do the same thing you did on the hands, where you want to just kind of run your thumb along the bottom of the foot from each toe. And then you want to squeeze and press each toe, starting with the big toe all the way to the baby toe. Again, reaching all of those reflexology points that are in the feet. You can actually squeeze the entire foot after you've done some strokes on the feet. You can use both hands and squeeze your foot if that's comfortable to do. And very last thing, take your fist and just tap the bottom of the foot in the center. This is great for stimulating energy in the entire body. And if it's uncomfortable to reach to the bottom of the foot, that's okay. Just go as far as you can. Maybe you get to your shin, and that's perfect. You can imagine that you're working the bottom of your feet. Make sure to do both feet the same way. And now you've done a head to toe routine. So you just want to brush off the energy around you. So you just literally brush off your body. We've done this before where you drag energy off your arms. Do that 3 times. And then just drag energy off the front of your body, reaching all the way down to your feet. Try to reach behind you very gently. Brush off energy behind you and around you so that you've created a really nice sense of well being within yourself. And let's just finish by closing our eyes, taking a final inhale and exhale, really letting go. It feels so great to take this time with yourself. It's just all very simple and easy and very effective. And you should feel great. Make sure when you open your eyes that you take a moment to just sit and observe your senses, giving yourself a moment to integrate back into the doing mode. And make sure to drink plenty of water after you've done a self massage routine, just because it'll help flush out toxins and keep you feeling really great. So now I will turn it back over to Allison. We just have our final quote, and thank you for joining us today.
And our quote for the day is about renewal as well. And it's been paraphrased or translated from the Bhakti Sutras. Any amount of stress, any amount of negativity, thought, this and that, they'll all come and pass and get out, leaving you crystal clear and pure. So know that in the center core of you, you are only bliss and love, nothing else. From the Bhakti Sutras. So I hope you are all feeling renewed and refreshed. And when you view this, it'll help you cultivate that sense of renewal and presence in the moment and a bit of peace. And we'd like to, as always, thank Images of Hope, El Dorado, for their support with this and for getting the word out to you about our classes and bringing art to our community as well as healing. So for this month, renew and energize yourselves. And a big hug from Jennifer and I, and take care of yourselves. And we will see you next time. So, bye-bye, and thank you again. Thanks for joining us on Tranquil Journeys. Bye-bye.